The family of Shanquella Robinson, a North Carolina woman killed while on a trip in Mexico, continued to demand justice for her death. Video circulating on social media shows her being attacked by so-called friends before she died. Mexican police have classified it as a femicide, which is the killing of a woman because of her gender. Now, this happened back in October of last year. Arrest warrants have been issued for those on the trip, but still no one has been charged or arrested. And joining us right now is the family's attorney, Sue Ann Robinson. Sue Ann, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Now, it has been about 4 months since Shanquella's death. Before we get into the investigation, can you just share with us, how is her family doing?
Her family is in higher spirits today. Some days are better than others. Since our press conference, we have gotten more coverage. More people are hearing Shanquella Robinson's family and what their requests are. And we were able to get a question into the White House press secretary today. So today is a good day. But there's ups and downs in the process of grieving a loved one, also having to put your shoulder to the plow to seek justice for that loved one, and then, of course, battling a lot of misinformation. But today was a good day.
All right, and you just mentioned that the family was able to ask questions to the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, and obviously trying to get justice for the family for the death of Shanquella Robinson. And let me just ask you about the letter that was sent to the U.S. government. Can you just tell us more about that?
We, Ben Crump and I sent a letter to President Biden and the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, this week, essentially so that we could close the gap on the administration, saying that they're unaware of the case, they don't know what the ask is, and they don't know what's happening with the case. So we gave them kind of a synopsis of the case, as well as included some of the documents that were recovered during my fact-finding mission in Mexico from the Mexican authorities, just to be able to demonstrate for the administration that, listen, Mexican authorities have advised that their investigation is complete and the ball is now in the U.S. authorities' court to do what's next.
All right, now let's talk about some of the conflicting reports here. Now, initially, the people Shanquella was with said she died of alcohol poisoning, but the autopsy revealed she, in fact, died from fatal trauma to her neck and spine. And the letter also includes firsthand accounts from a worker at the villa in Cabo, Mexico, who says he was manipulated. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The travel mates that were with Shanquella, they did, in fact, one of them have a doctor come to the villa. And so one of the statements that are attached is one of the workers who actually identified the person who's in the video that's been circulating, showing the attack on Shanquella Robinson. And then a second statement from another employee at the villa that was talking about his interaction with the rest of the travel mates. And I say travel mates not lightly, because words are important. And I know there's a lot of things circulating about these individuals that she was traveling with being her friends. They were not her friends. She only knew one of the people that she was with. The other 5 were her travel mates.
All right. Can you tell us exactly what the family would like the U.S. government to do here?
The family's ask is something that is very simple. They're asking either that the individual who was named in the Mexican investigation as the aggressor to be extradited back to Mexico, or for the U.S. authorities, U.S. law enforcement, to ask for concurrent jurisdiction with Mexico and take over the investigation and prosecute the responsible parties here in the United States.
And do investigators know the whereabouts of the named suspect?
Investigators in Mexico?
Or just in general, even the family. Where's the suspect right now?
Oh, all the travel mates who attended the trip are at large in America, just sleeping in their beds at night. They're not in custody anywhere.
Wow. So the people she was traveling with, Shanquella was traveling with, and allegedly took part in her death are just living their normal lives here in America. Tell us, how does the family feel about this? I'm sure it's very upsetting to them.
Well, the family feels that this could be a case where justice delayed could be justice denied. We're at about, like you said, 4 months, 135, 136 days out from this heinous act. And every day that passes, the evidence dissipates. Eyewitness testimony dissipates, physical evidence dissipates. And so every day that passes, the chances of having the people responsible prosecuted and brought to justice, that window closes. And so that's what the urgency is for the family right now.
And Shanquella was a young woman. She was just 25 years old. Can you just tell us some information about her, who she was as a person?
Sure. Shanquella was an adventurous, beautiful, bright woman with a bright future, educated. She was a Winston-Salem alumni. She braided children's hair and, she designed clothes. She had her own clothing line. She was an entrepreneur. And the trip was a trip that she took to kind of celebrate some of her recent achievements, to reward herself. And she liked traveling, very adventurous.
Suanne, what does the family hope for next?
The family is hoping that there will be a high level of diplomatic intervention, that the Department of State will talk to Mexican authorities and prioritize the case.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts, any parting words here regarding the case and investigation?
Sure. What the family is asking for is nothing unreasonable or anything new. They understand that obviously it's a transnational criminal case and it requires a high level of diplomatic intervention. They're looking to, and we're looking at the Mexican kidnapping case that just occurred, which is different substantively, but shows that U.S. law enforcement can absolutely coordinate with Mexican law enforcement very swiftly in a transnational criminal case. So they're asking for the United States government essentially to just keep that same energy with Shanquella Robinson's case.
And of course, we should mention you are working on this case along with your co-counsel, Benjamin Crump. Of course, many people here in the United States are familiar with that name. Sue Ann Robinson, thank you so much for your time here on Live Now from Fox. We will continue to stay on top of this case as it continues to develop.
Thank you.